Good morning, friends. In the earlier lecture, we have studied underdamped free vibration. Okay, we have seen this equation, that is the solution of the underdamped vibration is given by x is equal to a2 e raised to minus zeta omega n t into sine square root of 1 minus zeta square omega n t plus phi 2. Okay, so this equation we have derived for underdamped vibration in the earlier lecture. Okay, so this equation consists of three terms. Okay, a2 represent amplitude, then e raised to minus zeta omega nt represents reduction in amplitude in each cycle. That means as t increases, x decreases. Okay, it's a exponential reduction. And this third term, that is sine of something, because of this term the motion is vibratory, or you can say simple harmonic motion. Okay, what we have observed that when we have studied the earlier two cases, that is over damped and critically damped, sine term was not there. That's why the motion was simply an exponential curve. There was no sinusoidal motion. But in this underdamped vibration, the motion is sinusoidal, motion is simple harmonic, motion is vibratory, motion is periodic motion. Okay. Now, next we have to find out in today's lecture, determine the values of two constants. Okay. The one constant is A2 and other constant is phi 2. Okay, and apart from this we are going to study what is the physical interpretation of underdamped vibration. Okay, so what we have studied in earlier lecture, that omega d is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. Okay, omega n represents natural frequency of the system, omega d represent the frequency with which the system vibrates. It is known as a damped natural frequency. And what is zeta? It is damping factor. Okay. Also, we have seen that omega d is always less than omega n. Always. Okay. Because of this value, which is always less than 1. Okay. So now let us see here. This one we have to find out the values of a2 and phi 2. Okay. So what is the procedure? We have to say assume certain initial conditions. Okay, so what are those conditions? Again the same conditions we are going to assume, that at t is equal to 0, x is equal to xo, and at t is equal to 0, x dot is equal to 0. X dot is velocity. Okay, so let us differentiate this term, that is x. Okay, so you have to apply the rules of u into v. A2 is constant, so assume this is u, this is v. Okay, so u into v, differentiate. A2 is constant. Okay, so v u as it is e raised to minus zeta omega n t. What's the differentiation of sine cos square root of 1 minus zeta square omega n t plus phi 2 into what's the differentiation of this term with respect to t, square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. Okay, so this is the differentiation of first term. Now first one. Okay, now v as it is. What is v? This one, sine square root of this theta. So sine square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n t plus phi 2 we will write down as it is. And what is the differentiation of e minus zeta omega n t minus zeta omega n into e raised to minus zeta omega n t. A2 is common to this term also, this term also. Okay, so let us simplify it. X dot is equal to A2 e raised to minus zeta omega n t into this term we have written here, square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n into cos of this angle. Okay, minus. Why minus? Because here this term is minus. Where is that? Where this term minus zeta omega n. Okay, so minus a2 e raised to minus zeta omega n t into zeta into omega n into sine of this angle. Okay, now we have to put the initial conditions. First initial condition is at t is equal to 0, x is equal to capital XO. Okay, so put x is equal to capital XO and put t is equal to 0 into what equation? Into this equation. See, when you put x is equal to xo and when you put t is equal to 0, it will become e raised to 0. Okay, so a2 into e raised to 0 into sine 0 because t is 0 plus phi 2. Okay, so xo is equal to a2 into e raised to 0 into sine 0 plus phi 2. So what is remaining? Xo is equal to a2 into sine phi 2. So what we will get here? A2, the value of first constant, that is A2 is equal to xo upon sine phi 2. Okay. Now phi 2 is also unknown. Phi 2 is other constant. Okay. So we will get this value after putting the second condition. Okay. What is your second condition now? Put the value of, put the initial second condition, that is x dot is equal to 0 when t is equal to 0. Okay. So this is your equation x dot. Let us put here. So 0 is equal to a2 into e raised to 0, okay, into this square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n into cos 0 plus phi 2 minus a2 e raised to 0 into zeta omega n into sine 0 plus phi 2. Okay, the same is written here. 0 is equal to a2 e raised to 0, this everything. Okay, so after simplifying, what we will get? 0 is equal to a2 as it is, square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n as it is, and this is cos phi 2 minus a2 as it is, zeta omega n as it is, and sine phi 2. Okay, so what is common? Omega n is getting cancelled and a2 is also getting cancelled because on left hand side there is a 0. Okay, so take this term on this side, that is zeta sine phi 2 is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square cos phi 2. So what is sine phi 2? Then cos phi 2 you take on this side. Okay, so sine phi 2 upon cos phi 2 is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into zeta. So tan phi 2 is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into zeta. Therefore, phi 2 is equal to tan inverse square root of 1 minus zeta square upon zeta. Okay, so like this you get the value of phi 2, which is second constant. Okay, it is in terms of zeta. Okay, now when you put from this equation, you know what is sine phi 2, value of sine phi 2. See, numerator square root of 1 minus zeta square. So when I put the value of sine phi 2 in this a2, I will get the value of a2. Okay, so a2 is equal to xo upon sine phi 2, that is xo upon square root of 1 minus zeta square, this value. Okay, see here, a2 is equal to xo upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, now we have to put the values of these two constants, that is a2 and phi 2, in our equation. Which is this equation? This is the solution of under damped free vibration. Okay, this we have written here. If you go back, see, this is your equation. Okay, into this equation now you have to put the values of a2 and phi 2. Okay, this one, this equation. Okay, a2 and phi 2. So put the value here now. X is equal to, okay, what can you take common? See, a2 is xo upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so just write down here the value of a2, xo upon square root of 1 minus zeta square into this term as it is, e raised to minus zeta omega n t, into sine, okay, as it is first term, plus value of phi 2. Okay, where phi 2 is tan inverse square root of 1 minus zeta square upon zeta. So this is the equation of oscillatory type. What is the amplitude of this equation? See there, xo upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so again, this solution is having three terms. This represent amplitude, this represent reduction in amplitude in every cycle, and this represents sinusoidal motion, that is vibratory motion. Okay, so if we draw the graph now, okay, see, everything is related with the zeta. Okay, for deriving this equation, we have assumed the value of zeta constant. Okay, and then we have varied the parameter x. So as t increases, x decreases, but we have studied only for one value of zeta. That is zeta is equal to, suppose, what's the value of zeta here for under damped vibration? Do you remember? For over damped vibration, zeta is greater than 1. For critically damped vibration, zeta is equal to 1. And for under damped vibration, zeta is less than 1. Okay, but it is less than 1 means it is not negative, it is between 0 to 1. Because when you say zeta is equal to 0, means what? You have not provided any damping. Okay, so that is a no damping or undamped vibration. Okay, so in under damped vibration, the value of zeta lies between 0 to 1, just less than 1, just less than 1, not 1. When it 1, if zeta is equal to 1, that becomes the case of critically vibratory system. We already studied in the earlier lecture. Okay, we are not going to study it now. Here we are going to see the physical interpretation of under damped vibration. Okay, so let us consider, say, zeta is equal to 0. If you don't provide any damping, how will you get the displacement time graph? See, it is a sinusoidal without having any reduction in say amplitude. Okay, so that means if I join all this amplitude on one side of the equilibrium position, this, I will get a horizontal straight line. Okay, this is the case for undamped, means no damping provided. Okay, but here we have provided the damping. Okay, so let us see, let us have the value of zeta, say 0.1. Okay, so what will happen if we take zeta less than 1? That is a case of under damped vibration. Okay, so how the amplitude will be reducing in each cycle? See from here. We have started from here. This is the distance xo. Okay, that is, we are again, see, I forgot to tell you, this is the dimensionless term, that is x upon xo. How will you get it? See here. When I bring this capital XO on left hand side, LHS becomes x upon xo. That is the ratio of two displacement. So it is a dimensionless term. So x upon xo is equal to 1 upon square root of 1 minus zeta square into the remaining terms. Okay. So we are plotting the graph of x upon xo versus angle in radian, that is omega n into t. Okay. So let us consider the graph for zeta is equal to 0.1. Okay. So we have to start from the here, which is our initial condition. Then as the particle will display or body will have motion like this, what will happen? This distance here, there is a reduction in amplitude in every cycle. That means in every half cycle also. Okay, so it will be reduced here in the half cycle. It will be further reduced here in the half cycle. Okay, here we are not shown it here, but it will be further reduced like this. Okay, so in every cycle it will be go on reducing. So if you draw the graph like this, see, the graph will be like this. In every cycle it will go on reducing, and after that it will come to the equilibrium position. Okay, now just think, if I further reduce the value of zeta, what will happen? What will happen? Whether amplitude is decreasing or increasing. If I increase the value, if I further decrease the value of zeta, that means zeta instead of 0.1, if I take 0.2 now, okay, what will happen? Amplitude will further decrease. Okay, there is a more reduction in amplitude. So this is the graph of zeta is equal to 0.2. Okay, then this is the graph of zeta is equal to 0.4. Okay, then zeta is equal to 0.6, zeta is equal to 0.8. Okay, so like this, zeta is equal to 1. So all these curves lies between zeta is equal to 0, that is no damping, and zeta is equal to 1, that is critically damping, critical damping. Okay, so from 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, what does this indicate? As zeta, as the value of zeta decreases, okay, the value of zeta increases, the damping increases. Okay, that means the resistance to the motion increases. Understood? So this is the graph of displacement time plot for under damped system for different values of zeta. Okay. Now, let us see the relation between omega d and omega n. This is the relation we have already studied. Omega d is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. Okay. And as I already told you, omega d is always less than omega n. Why? Because zeta is always less than 1. So 1 minus something less than 1 will be less than 1, and square root of that 1 will be less than 1. So that will give you value omega d less than omega n. Okay. So if we plot the graph of ratio of omega d upon omega n and zeta. Okay. So for underdamped vibration, what's the range of value of zeta? Say 0, that means just above 0, and 1, that is just below 1. Okay. So it is ranging 0 to 1, excluding 0 and 1. Okay. So we have shown here 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 and 0.8. Okay. And what's the value of omega d upon omega n? It is also ranging from 0 to 1, because when you provide no damping, omega d is 0, here 0 is there. And when omega d maximum, it will be equal to omega n. So maximum value of omega d upon omega n is 1. Okay. Now see, if we put the value of different values of zeta into this equation, we get graph like this. Okay. What do we mean by this one? That means as zeta increases, omega d decreases. See, in this fashion, omega d decreases not linearly. Not linearly. It is a, you can say, what you can say, it is a square root, no? Square root of 1 minus zeta square. So it is a parabolic reduction. Okay. So this reduction is a parabolic reduction. Okay. So understood this graph? As zeta increases, omega d decreases parabolically. Okay. And the same relation we have seen here in the displacement time graph. Understood? Okay. Now let us have the physical interpretation of underdamped vibration. Okay. See, study this curve. From here, amplitude is reducing in every cycle. And finally, it will come to the equilibrium position. Okay. That means vanishes. Amplitude will be vanishing. Okay. This is happening only in free vibration, not in force vibration. In force vibration, which you are going to study in unit number 2, as long as force will be acting on the system, vibrations will be there. Okay. But here, this is a free vibration, no external force is acting. So if you provide the damping, and if that damping is of underdamped type, that means zeta is less than 1, in every cycle, amplitude will go on reducing, and finally it will come to the rest position, that is finally amplitude will be vanishing. Okay. Now if we join these all peaks of these cycles, okay, what will you get? You will get this exponential curve. Okay, from here to here also, and from here to here also. This is underdamped vibration. Okay. So what is the physical interpretation of this equation? See, already you have learned this equation. X is equal to A2 into e raised to minus zeta omega nt into sine omega dt plus phi 2. What is omega d? Square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. Okay. And what are the values of A2? Xo upon square root of 1 minus zeta square, and omega d is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n, and phi 2 is equal to tan inverse square root of 1 minus zeta square upon zeta. Okay. So from these, now see, so once you put the value of A2 and phi 2, you will get the equation which we have already derived. Okay. So this was the physical interpretation of this underdamped system. Okay. Now this equation you require even for force vibration in unit number 2. Okay. So what is the conclusion of these 3 types of systems which we have studied? From the 3 cases discussed so far, it is seen that for overdamped and critically damped system, there is a aperiodic motion. Okay. And while for the underdamped system, it is an oscillatory motion. Critically damping is the least amount of damping that a system can have for non-oscillatory or aperiodic motion. Okay. Now let us have the last point. Okay, just a revision what we have studied. Okay, so due to presence of sine and cosine term in equation 16a, that means this equation which we have proved for this one under damped system. Okay, due to the presence of sine and cosine term in this equation, the motion of the system is oscillatory with a damped natural frequency omega t. Okay, and it is noted that this equation is periodic whose amplitude decreases with increase in time. Okay, so this is the general nature of damped free vibrations. Okay, what are the characteristics of this underdamped system of vibration? First characteristic is motion is periodic. Why? Because sine term is present and vibrations are taking place. Okay, what's the second characteristics? Amplitude decreases with time. So as t increases, amplitude decreases. And what's the third characteristics? The frequency of oscillation depends on damping constant or damping factor zeta or C. Okay, so we have seen this in this graph. Okay, as value of zeta is different, your amount of say the reduction in amplitude is also different. Okay, so this was the third observation, that third characteristics. Okay, the fourth characteristic is that higher the damping constant, that is zeta, smaller will be the frequency. Okay, we have seen in this graph. See here, higher the damping factor, okay, smaller will be the amplitude. Okay, so this is the fourth characteristic. Okay, see here in this graph also it is shown. So this is the original, say A2, value of constant A2 from 0 to plus, 0 to minus, okay, phi 2, sorry, A2, and then it is reduced in every cycle. Okay, so this exponential curve is given by the mathematical term A2 into sine, A2 into e raised to minus zeta omega n t into sine. Why sine? Because this vibration is sinusoidal in nature. Okay, so here we are finished the three types of vibrations, that is over damped, critically damped, and under damped vibratory system. Okay, so in the next lecture we are going to study what is the reduction in amplitude in each cycle. See here, amplitude is reduced from first cycle to second cycle by this much amount, correct? So how to find out this reduction, that we are going to study in the next lecture, and that term is known as a logarithmic decrement. It is very important topic in underdamped free vibration, which you will need to say study in unit number 2, that is force vibration, and also in unit number 3, that is 2 DOF system. Okay, so thank you very much. I am Sunita Fadkule from JSPM's Jayawantharao Sawant College of Engineering, working in mechanical department as an associate professor. Thank you. Let me stop.